Hiro Tanaka had always been a man of action. For as long as he could remember, his mind raced at 100 kilometers per hour, analyzing, planning, worrying. But now, as he sat in his cramped Tokyo apartment surrounded by financial projections and unanswered emails, that relentless energy had turned against him. His startup, which had begun with such promise 6 months ago, was teetering on the edge of collapse. The numbers didn't add up. The investors were getting cold feet. His co-founder had quietly begun interviewing elsewhere, and with each passing day, Hiro's thoughts grew louder, more frantic, until they were a deafening storm in his skull. What if we run out of funding? What if I've bet everything on the wrong idea? What if I fail and everyone sees me for the fraud I am? Sleep became impossible. Meals were forgotten. Even his morning runs, once a sacred ritual, fell by the wayside as he obsessively refreshed his inbox, hoping for a miracle. On the morning of his breaking point, Hiro received a message from an old university professor. There is a Zen master in the mountains north of the city. He doesn't give advice, but he listens. Go see him. Hiro nearly dismissed it. He didn't have time for spiritual retreats. He needed solutions, not riddles, but something, perhaps desperation, made him book the train ticket anyway. The journey took him far from Tokyo's neon buzz, into misty hills where the air smelled of pine and damp earth. Master Lee's home was a simple wooden structure, half hidden among maple trees. When Hiro arrived, the old man was raking gravel in a courtyard, his movements slow and deliberate. Without looking up, Lee said, "You're early." Hiro blinked. "I didn't tell anyone when I was coming." The master smiled faintly. The storm always arrives before the thunder. Inside, the master prepared tea in silence. Hiro, unable to contain himself, began unloading his fears, the dwindling bank account, the pressure, the sleepless nights. His words tumbled out in a frantic stream, as if speaking faster might somehow outrun his problems. Lee listened without interruption, his face unreadable. When Hiro finally paused for breath, the master placed a small, empty cup in front of him and began pouring. The tea flowed in a smooth golden ribbon, filling the cup to the brim, and then kept going. Hiro watched in disbelief as the liquid spilled over the edges, pooling on the wooden table. "Stop," he said, instinctively pulling his hands back. "It's full. Can't you see?" Master Lee set the teapot down. "And yet, you expected it to hold more." Hiro opened his mouth to argue, then stopped. "Your mind is like this cup," the master continued, "overflowing with thoughts, fears, calculations. How can anything new enter when there is no space left to receive it?" Hiro stared at the mess on the table. "You came here seeking answers," Lee said, "but the first answer is this: empty your cup." For the first time in months, Hiro sat in silence. Not the tense, restless quiet of a man waiting for disaster, but true stillness. The kind that settles like morning fog, softening the edges of the world. And then, without warning, the solution came to him. Not as a frantic epiphany, but as a quiet certainty, something that had been there all along, buried beneath the noise. "We've been targeting the wrong customers." It was so obvious now. The data had been hinting at it for weeks, but he'd been too distracted by fear to see it. When Hiro finally looked up, Master Lee was smiling. "Ah," he said, "now you are ready to drink." This time, when the master poured, Hiro accepted the tea with steady hands.